Hello and welcome to Defense Dynamics. I am Danveer Singh coming to you from New Delhi. This week, we bring to you stories that reveal how India's military is preparing for the future, from the skies above the Himalayas to the waters of the Indian Ocean. First up, Russia's Su-75 Checkmate, marketed as one of the world's most affordable fifth-generation fighters. So can the Su-75 be the answer for Indian Air Force? We analyze that. Then, the Zorawar Light Tank, which is evolving into something far bigger than a single armored vehicle. How is that happening? We will tell you that. And in the oceans, a familiar name has returned to the Indian fleet. 49 years after the original warship entered service, INS Dunagiri is back. What does this transformation tell us about the rise of India's naval industrial power? And in my take, I'll tell you, the Indian Air Force, as it is facing one of the most critical force structure challenges in its history, can the Tejas, Rafale or the upgraded Su-30 MKI or even the offered Su-57 help reverse this decline? Or is India racing against time to avoid a deeper capability gap? All that and much more coming up, but first the global defense headlines.
Droneverse successfully demonstrated its Rudra 7 FPV drones and counter-UAS systems to the Indian Army in Ladakh. Trials were conducted at altitudes up to 18,000 feet under extreme weather and terrain conditions. The indigenous drone showcased stable flight, precision targeting, and reliable performance, strengthening India's high-altitude defense capabilities. India and the UAE are in advanced discussion for the potential sale of BrahMos missile and Akash Tir air defense network. The move comes as Abu Dhabi seeks to enhance its military capabilities amid evolving regional security challenges. The deal would significantly boost India's defense exports and deepen strategic defense cooperation between the two nations. UK-based Cambridge Aerospace has reported a 70% effectiveness rate for its Skyhammer interceptor UAV. Unveiled at Eurosatory 2026, the turbojet part system can engage aerial threats beyond 30 km and reach speeds up to 700 km per hour. Designed for autonomous operations, Skyhammer was developed to counter drone threats such as Shahid types UAVs. Road and Schwarz has revealed that the Thoris counter UAS systems can jam up to 10 drones at the same time. Displayed at Eurosatory 2026, the system integrates radar, EO and IR sensors, command and control software, RF jamming, cyber effects and laser capabilities. Thoris is designed to counter Class 1 and Class 2 unmanned aerial threats in complex battlefield environments. The United States has approved the sale of 12 Sikorsky UH-60M Black Hawk helicopter to Austria in a deal valued at approximately $1.5 billion. The package includes aircraft, training, support, and associated equipment. The acquisition will strengthen Austria's air mobility capabilities and improve interoperability with US and coalition forces.
Russia is once again knocking on India's door with a fifth-generation fighter offer. After pitching the Su-57, Moscow is quietly marketing the Su-75 Checkmate, a single-engine stealth fighter designed specifically for export customers. So what makes Su-75 unique is its price. Russia claims the aircraft could cost as little as 25 to 30 million US dollars, that is per jet cost, making it significantly cheaper than Western fifth-generation fighters like the F-35. But despite the attractive price tag, India appears unlikely to join this program. So why is Su-75 so cheap? What are its strengths? And why New Delhi is likely putting its faith totally in AMCA instead?
When Russia unveiled the Su-75 Checkmate, at the Marx Air Show in 2021, it was presented as the People's Stealth Fighter. Unlike the twin-engine Su-57, the Checkmate is a single-engine aircraft designed to be affordable, easier to maintain, and attractive to countries that cannot afford F-35. Russia has repeatedly claimed a target price between $25 and $30 million per aircraft. The reason behind the lower price is simple. Su-75 uses a single engine instead of two, thus reducing manufacturing and maintenance costs. It is also expected to share technologies, avionics, and components with Su-57, allowing Russia to lower development expenses. On paper, the aircraft promises stealth shaping, internal weapon base, ASA radar, sensor fusion, and a combat radius of around 1,500 kilometers. In theory, the Checkmate occupies the space between expensive Western stealth fighters and advanced fourth-generation aircraft. Russia hopes it can become an affordable alternative to the American F-35 and China's FC-31 export fighter. But there is one major problem. The aircraft still hasn't flown. 5 years after its unveiling, the program remains in development, with Russia now targeting a maiden flight in 2026 after multiple delays. Questions remain about funding, sanctions, supply chains, and production timelines. For India, that uncertainty is a serious concern. The Indian Air Force already has experience with ambiguous fighter programs that promised much but delivered slowly. Any decision to invest billions in a platform that is yet to complete its first flight would carry significant risks. Moreover, India today is not looking merely for a fighter aircraft, it is looking for technological sovereignty. That is where the AMCA program changes the equation. India's advanced medium combat aircraft is intended to become country's indigenous fifth generation fighter. Beyond the aircraft itself, AMCA is expected to develop India's ecosystem in stealth design, avionics, mission computers, sensor fusion, software architecture, and advanced propulsion. Buying or co-developing the Su-75 could divert resources, manpower, and political attention away from AMCA at a time when New Delhi wants complete control over its future aerospace roadmap. There is also a strategic dimension. India already operates one of the world's largest fleets of Russian origin fighters. The long-term trend in Indian defense procurement is diversification, not deeper dependence on any single foreign supplier. The experience of sanctions, supply chain disruptions, and delays in global defense programs has strengthened India's resolve to invest in indigenous capabilities wherever possible. The result is a paradox. The Su-57 may indeed become one of the cheapest fifth-generation fighters ever built, but for India, the question is no longer about the cheapest stealth fighter. The question is who owns the technology, who controls the upgrades, and who decides the future of the aircraft. And on those parameters, New Delhi increasingly wants the answer to be India itself.
The Su-75 Checkmate remains an intriguing aircraft. If Russia succeeds, it could reshape the global market for affordable stealth fighters. But for India, the strategic calculation has shifted. The future is no longer about importing fifth-generation technology. It's about mastering it, and that makes AMCA, not Checkmate, the aircraft that matters most for India's air power ambitions. When the Indian Army first envisioned the Zorawar Light Tank, the objective was simple: to counter the Chinese growing armored presence across the line of actual control. But today, Zorawar is evolving into something much bigger. What began as a single light tank project is now becoming a complete family of tracked combat vehicles designed specifically for the harsh realities of high-altitude warfare. From missile carriers and air defense systems to reconnaissance platforms and troop carrier, the Zorawar ecosystem could become the backbone of India's mountain warfare strategy.
The Zorawar Light Tank is one of the fastest moving armored vehicle projects currently underway in India. Developed jointly by DRDO and Larsen Toubro, the platform was conceived after the military lessons of Eastern Ladakh standoff that highlighted the need for highly mobile armor capable of operating above 50,000 feet. Unlike traditional heavy tanks, Zorawar has been designed specifically for Himalayan conditions. At the heart of the program lies a unique philosophy. Instead of creating multiple specialized vehicles with different engines, mobility systems, and maintenance requirements, DRDO has chosen a modular approach. Single-track chassis serves as the foundation for an entire family of combat platforms. The result is a common vehicle architecture capable of supporting multiple battlefield roles while sharing the same automotive components. The platform itself weighs around 25 tons and is powered by a 760 horsepower engine. Combined with advanced hydro-pneumatic suspension and amphibious capability, the tank delivers an exceptional power-to-weight ratio, allowing it to operate in terrain where conventional main battle tanks struggle. In rarefied air of Ladakh and other high-altitude sectors, mobility often matters more than the armored thickness. And mobility is precisely where Zorawar has been optimized. One of the most promising variants currently under development combines the tank's main gun with twin Nag Mk-2 anti-tank guided missile launchers. Recent test firings have demonstrated the ability to engage enemy armor at ranges of 7 to 10 kilometers. This transforms the vehicle into a dual-layer hunter capable of destroying targets both through direct fire and beyond line-of-sight engagements. In mountain warfare, where ridgelines and valleys frequently block visibility, such capabilities can provide a decisive advantage. Future versions could take this concept even further. Engineers are exploring the integration of micro drone launchers and loitering munitions directly into the vehicle. These drones would allow tank crews to scout enemy positions hidden behind mountains, identify threats in real time, and launch precision attacks without exposing themselves to direct fire. It is a concept increasingly being adopted by modern militaries worldwide, combining armor, drones, and precision strike capabilities into a single battlefield system. The Zorawar chassis is also emerging as a potential answer to another challenge facing the Indian Army: air defense in the mountains. Current air defense vehicles often struggle in high altitude environment due to their weight and mobility limitations. A self-propelled air defense gun variant would replace the main cannon with twin rapid-fire automatic guns and short-range surface-to-air missiles. Such a vehicle could provide critical protection against attack helicopters, drone swarms, and low-flying cruise missiles while keeping pace with armored formations in difficult terrain. But perhaps the greatest advantage of Zorawar ecosystem lies not in firepower, sensor, or mobility. It lies in logistics. By standardizing engines, transmission, and mobility systems across multiple platforms, the Indian Army can dramatically simplify maintenance, training, and spare parts management. In the unforgiving environment of the Himalayas, where every supply convoy matters, that logistic advantage could become a force multiplier.
For decades, mountain warfare has been dominated by infantry and artillery. But the future battlefield along the line of actual control could look very different. If the Zorawar family of vehicles reaches its full potential, India may soon field not just a light tank, but the entire high-altitude armored ecosystem designed specifically for the Himalayas. 49 years ago, a warship named INS Dunagiri entered service with the Indian Navy. Built under a foreign design and powered by steam turbines, it represented an era when India depended heavily on overseas technology for its naval combat power. Today that name returns to the fleet. But the new INS Dunagiri is far more than a replacement. It is a symbol of how far India's shipbuilding industry has come, from assembling foreign designs to producing some of the most advanced stealth warships in Asia.
On June 21st, the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi, commissioned 3 new naval vessels in Kolkata, namely INS Dunagiri, INS Agre and INS Sanshodhak. Amongst them, INS Dunagiri stands out as powerful symbol of India's naval transformation. The vessel belongs to Nilgiri-class of advanced guided missile stealth frigates being built under Project 17 Alpha. The original INS Dunagiri entered service in year 1997 as Leander-class frigate. Built under a British design license, the ship represented the best technology available to India at that time. But nearly 5 decades later, naval warfare has changed dramatically, and so has India. The difference between the two ships are striking. The original INS Dunagiri displaced around 2,700 tons and measured 113 meters in length. The new INS Dunagiri is significantly larger and capable combatant. At nearly 149 meters long and displacing over 6,600 tons, it carries more sensors, more weapons, and far greater combat endurance. Perhaps the biggest difference lies in survivability. The old frigate featured a conventional steel superstructure that could be easily detected by enemy radars. The new Dunagiri has been designed from the outset as a stealth warship. Its angular surfaces, enclosed structures, and radar-absorbent features reduce its radar signature, making it significantly harder to detect and track. In modern naval warfare, avoiding detection is often as important as carrying powerful weapons. The transformation in firepower is equally dramatic. The original frigate relied primarily on naval guns for surface engagements. The new Dunagiri carries BrahMos supersonic cruise missiles, giving it the ability to strike enemy warships and land targets at long range with devastating effect. Alongside BrahMos, the vessel is equipped with vertical launch system cells carrying medium-range surface-to-air missiles, creating a protective shield against aircraft, drones, and incoming missiles. Below the surface, the warship is equally formidable. Ship carries indigenous torpedo system, rocket launchers, and advanced anti-submarine warfare capabilities. The HUMSA NG sonar suite continuously scans the underwater battle space, while Shakti electronic warfare suite helps detect, classify, and counter hostile electronic emissions. Together, these systems transform Dunagiri into a multi-dimensional combat platform capable of fighting above, on, and below the sea. The aviation facilities represent another major leap forward. The original INS Dunagiri could operate only a single helicopter. The new frigate can embark and support 2 multi-role helicopters, including the MH-60R Seahawk and ALH Grove Mark III. This dramatically extends the ship's surveillance, anti-submarine, and maritime strike capabilities far beyond the horizon. Yet the most important story may not be the weapons. It is the level of indigenous technology inside the vessel. Nearly 75% of the ship has been built using Indian systems and components. The hull itself uses indigenous DMR 249A naval steel. Its integrated platform management system, propulsion controls, power management architecture, electronic warfare systems, sonar suite, and multiple weapon systems have all been developed or manufactured within India. This reflects the larger transformation underway in the Indian Navy. For decades, India imported naval platforms or built them under foreign licenses. Today, Indian shipyards are designing, integrating, and producing increasingly sophisticated warships using domestic technology. Project 17 Alpha represents one of the clearest examples of that shift. The birth of INS Dunagiri therefore carries significance beyond a single warship. It represents the journey of India's naval industrial ecosystem from dependence to self-reliance, from steam-powered frigates built under foreign supervision to stealth-guided missile warships packed with indigenous systems, and from a regional navy to a maritime force preparing to operate across the Indo-Pacific.
The name Dunagiri may be very familiar to naval veterans, but the ship carrying that name today belongs to a very different era. An era defined by stealth, network-centric warfare and indigenous technology, and perhaps most importantly, an era in which India is no longer merely buying naval power, it is building it. The Indian Air Force today faces a paradox. On one hand, Operation Sindoor demonstrated that India possesses some of the most capable air combat platforms in the region. Rafales armed with Meteor missiles, Su-30 MKIs carrying BrahMos and Rampage weapons, networked air defense systems and space-enabled targeting proved their worth. Yet, beneath that impressive performance lies a worrying reality. The Indian Air Force is operating at just 29 to 31 fighter squadrons against a sanctioned of 42. That is not merely a shortfall. It is the lowest force level India has seen in decades, while simultaneously facing a two-front challenge from Pakistan as well as China. The question therefore is not whether the IAF has quality. The question is whether it has enough quantity. And today, India has multiple options on its table. Tejas Mk1A, additional Rafales, more Su-30 MKIs, and even Russia's offer of 5th generation Su-57. The immediate answer is yes, these aircrafts can stop that decline, but they cannot all solve the problem in same way. Let's begin with Tejas. For years, Tejas program suffered from delays, supply chain bottlenecks and engine shortages. But in year 2026, the situation is finally beginning to change. HAL is preparing to accelerate Tejas Mk1A deliveries. And once production stabilizes at 24 aircrafts per annum, the Indian Air Force will begin receiving fighters at a rate not seen in decades. Every Tejas inducted fills a gap left by the retired or retiring MiG-21s and aging fleets, while simultaneously strengthening India's aerospace ecosystem. Most importantly, Tejas is not just a fighter acquisition program, it is an industrial capability program. Then comes Rafale. Rafale has emerged as perhaps the most capable multi-role fighter in Indian Air Force's inventory. Its combat performance, sensor fusion, electronic warfare systems and Meteor missile combination have already demonstrated their value. Additional Rafales would provide a rapid increase in capability with minimal integration risk because the aircraft is already operational with the Indian Air Force. A Tejas squadron adds number, a Rafale squadron adds numbers and strategic punch. Then there is Su-30 MKI, often overlooked in discussions about new fighters. The Su-30 remains the backbone of Indian air power. With Super Sukhoi upgrade program, the aircraft is expected to receive AESA radars, advanced electronic warfare systems, new weapons and enhanced networking capabilities. For the cost of acquiring entirely new aircraft, India could upgrade and potentially expand a fleet that already has established infrastructure, maintenance chain and trained pilots. In terms of sheer squadron building speed, additional Su-30 MKIs may actually offer one of the fastest solutions available. And finally, there is Russia's latest pitch, the Su-57. Moscow continues to market the aircraft as India's quickest pathway into 5th generation era. The attraction is obvious: stealth features, internal weapon base, super cruise capability, and a platform that is already entering Russian Air Force service. But there is an important question: technology transfer, long-term maintenance, production rate, sanction exposure, and most importantly, whether investing billions in a foreign fifth-generation fighter makes sense when India is already investing heavily in AMCA. The Su-57 may offer capability, but AMCA offers capability plus technological sovereignty, and that distinction matters. The reality is that no single aircraft will solve the squadron crisis. The answer will likely require a combination of all available pathways. Tejas to build numbers, Rafale to strengthen frontline capability, Su-30 MKI upgrades to maintain mass and firepower, and AMCA to secure India's long-term future. The fighter debate is often framed as a choice between platforms. But the real challenge facing the Indian Air Force is time. Aircraft retirements are occurring faster than new inductions. Every year lost today becomes a squadron gap tomorrow. That is why real metric is not which fighter is best. It is which fighter can enter service fastest while simultaneously building India's future aerospace capability. The race to 42 squadrons is not therefore just about filling numbers. It's about ensuring India has the capacity, technology and industrial base to fight and win future wars. Because in the end, 42 squadrons is not the destination, it is the minimum requirement. And with that, it's time to wrap up this edition of Defense Dynamics. This week we have examined Russia's offer of Su-75 Checkmate. We also looked at how the Zorawar program is evolving from a light tank into an entire ecosystem of combat platforms. And we witnessed the return of INS Dunagiri, a name that connects two generations of Indian Navy. In my take, we discussed one of the biggest strategic questions facing the Indian Air Force today. The common thread running through all these stories is clear. Whether it's fighter, tanks or warships, India is increasingly focused not just on acquiring military capability, but building it at home. The future of national security will be determined not only by the platforms we operate, but by the technologies we develop, the industries we nurture, and strategic choices we make today. So thank you very much for watching. See you next week again with new stories and their analysis. Until then, take care and goodbye.